Welcome to Daily English Talks. I'm Ellen, and today we'll discover why speaking more slowly can actually make you sound more fluent, confident, and natural. The fundamental misconception about fluency. Many English learners harbor a deep-seated belief that fluency equals speed. This misconception drives countless students to race through sentences, stumble over words, and leave their listeners confused or lost. The truth is more nuanced and ultimately more liberating. Speed without clarity is just noise. If your listener can't understand you, your message is lost, no matter how quickly you deliver it. Consider this analogy. Imagine you're a tour guide leading visitors through a beautiful city. If you rush them from landmark to landmark without pause, they'll see nothing clearly and remember even less. But if you allow them to stop, observe, and absorb each sight, they'll leave with vivid memories and deep appreciation. Speaking English works exactly the same way. When you rush through your words, you're essentially rushing your listener through the landscape of your thoughts, giving them no time to appreciate the scenery or follow the path you're creating. The market metaphor. Picture yourself walking through a bustling marketplace in a foreign country. If you rush through the narrow aisles, you'll bump into vendors, miss the incredible displays of spices and fabrics, and leave feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. But if you stroll slowly and deliberately, you notice the aromatic coffee brewing in the corner stall, the intricate patterns on hand-woven rugs, the warm smiles of shopkeepers eager to share their stories. This is precisely what happens in conversation. When you rush your English, you collide with your own pronunciation, miss opportunities for genuine connection, skip past the nuances that make communication meaningful, and leave both you and your listener feeling frustrated. When you slow down, you give your mind the space it needs to select precise words, allow your listener time to process and engage with your ideas, create an atmosphere of calm confidence, and transform speaking from a stressful race into an enjoyable journey. The science behind clarity. Research in psycholinguistics consistently shows that comprehension decreases significantly when speech exceeds optimal processing speeds. Your listener's brain needs time to decode pronunciation, process meaning, and prepare responses. When you speak too quickly, you overload their cognitive processing capacity, forcing them to work harder rather than engage naturally with your message. Think about the last teacher, presenter, or conversationalist who truly captivated you. They likely spoke with measured pacing, strategic pauses, and clear articulation. You probably didn't consciously notice their speed because their clarity was so compelling. They understood a crucial principle. The goal is not to impress with velocity, but to connect through comprehension. Practical demonstration. Let's experience this difference firsthand. Rapid delivery. I'm planning to visit the new art museum downtown this weekend because I heard they have an incredible exhibition featuring contemporary artists from around the world, and I'm particularly interested in seeing the sculpture collection. Measured delivery. I'm planning to visit the new art museum downtown this weekend. I heard they have an incredible exhibition featuring contemporary artists from around the world, and I'm particularly interested in seeing the sculpture collection. Notice how the second version allows each idea to land before the next one begins. Your listener can visualize the museum, anticipate the weekend visit, and share your excitement about the sculpture collection. The first version rushes past these connection points, leaving little room for engagement or understanding. Debunking the native speaker myth. One of the most persistent myths in English learning is that native speakers always talk fast, and therefore learners must match this pace to sound authentic. This belief is not only incorrect, but potentially harmful to your communication development. The reality of native speaker communication. Native speakers actually adjust their speaking speed constantly based on context, formal presentations versus casual conversations, audience, speaking to children, elderly, or non-native speakers, content complexity, explaining technical concepts versus sharing simple stories, emotional state, excited versus serious versus comforting. Professional native speakers, teachers, news anchors, public speakers, customer service representatives typically speak at moderate to slow speeds when clarity matters. They understand that effective communication prioritizes understanding over speed. The practical standard. Watch any high-quality TED Talk, listen to skilled news broadcasters, or observe effective teachers in action. They're not racing through their content, they're pacing it strategically. They use deliberate pauses to emphasize key points, varied speed to maintain interest, clear articulation to ensure comprehension, and strategic repetition to reinforce important concepts. These speakers have mastered the art of controlled communication, and this is the model you should emulate, not the rapid-fire casual conversation you might overhear in a coffee shop. The art of rhythm over robotics. The key to effective slow speech isn't robotic, monotonous delivery. Instead, it's about discovering the natural rhythm and music inherent in English. Every language has its own melodic patterns, and English is particularly rich in rhythmic variation. Understanding English musicality. English operates like a piece of music, with strong beats, stressed syllables and words, weak beats, unstressed syllables and function words, pauses like rests in music, and crescendos and diminuendos, rising and falling intonation. When you slow down thoughtfully, you're not dragging each syllable uniformly. Instead, you're giving each musical element its proper time and space to create a pleasing, comprehensible rhythm. Dynamic pacing techniques. Master speakers use varied pacing to create engagement. Speed up slightly for background information or less crucial details, lists or familiar information, building excitement or energy. Slow down for key points or conclusions, new or complex content, emotional or serious content, emphasis or dramatic effects. Rhythm practice exercise. Try this sentence with different rhythmic approaches. Baseline. Yesterday, I discovered a small cafe tucked away behind the library, and they serve the most incredible homemade pastries I've ever tasted. Emphasis version. Yesterday, I discovered a small cafe tucked away behind the library, and they serve the most incredible homemade pastries I've ever tasted. Story building version. Yesterday, I discovered a small cafe tucked away behind the library, and they serve the most incredible homemade pastries I've ever tasted. Notice how each version creates different emotional experiences while maintaining clarity and engagement. The neurological benefits of controlled speech. Slowing down your speech isn't just about helping your listener. It fundamentally changes how your brain processes language production. When you speak rapidly, your brain must simultaneously juggle multiple complex tasks. The cognitive load of fast speech. Lexical retrieval. Finding the right words in your mental dictionary. Grammatical construction. Arranging words according to English syntax rules. Phonological planning. Preparing the correct pronunciation for each word. Prosodic control. Managing stress, rhythm, and intonation. Self-monitoring. Checking for errors and appropriateness. Social awareness. Reading listener reactions and adjusting accordingly. This cognitive multitasking creates enormous mental pressure, leading to mistakes, anxiety, and exhaustion. Your brain essentially operates in a state of constant emergency, trying to keep up with demands that exceed its optimal processing capacity. The liberation of measured speech. When you consciously slow your speech, you transform this frantic juggling act into a manageable, even enjoyable process. Your brain gains the luxury of time to plan ahead, prepare the next phrase while completing the current one, self-correct, catch and fix errors before they leave your mouth. Choose precisely, select the most accurate and expressive vocabulary, monitor comprehension, observe listener reactions, and adjust accordingly. Neuroplasticity and habit formation. The beautiful truth about brain plasticity is that the neural pathways you reinforce become stronger and more automatic. Every time you choose controlled speech over rushed delivery, you're literally rewiring your brain for better communication. Over weeks and months of consistent practice, this measured approach becomes your natural default, requiring less conscious effort and creating more mental space for creativity and connection. The professional impact of measured speech. In professional environments, the way you speak directly influences how others perceive your competence, reliability, and leadership potential. Controlled speech communicates several powerful messages simultaneously. Psychological impressions created by slow speech. Competence and expertise. When someone speaks slowly and clearly, listeners unconsciously assume they possess deep knowledge and understanding. Fast, rushed speech often suggests nervousness or uncertainty, while measured delivery implies confidence in one's message. Leadership qualities. Effective leaders understand that communication is about influence, not speed. They use pacing to command attention, emphasize key points, and ensure their vision is understood and remembered. Emotional intelligence. Slow speakers demonstrate awareness of their listener needs and processing capabilities. This sensitivity suggests high emotional intelligence and collaborative skills. Reliability. Measured speech suggests careful thought and consideration. In professional settings, this translates to perceived reliability and trustworthiness. Specific professional applications. Job interviews. Instead of rushing through, I think I'd be great for this position because I have lots of experience and I'm really passionate about this field and I learn quickly. Try, I believe I'd be an excellent fit for this position for several key reasons. First, my 5 years of experience in similar roles has given me deep insight into the challenges you're facing. Second, my genuine passion for this field drives me to stay current with industry developments. And finally, my track record of quickly mastering new skills means I can contribute immediately while continuing to grow. Presentations. Rather than, today I'm going to talk about our quarterly results, which were really good, and I think you'll be excited about the growth we've seen in several key areas. Consider, today I'm excited to share our quarterly results with you. The numbers tell a compelling story of growth, innovation, and strategic success. I believe you'll find 3 particular areas especially encouraging. Client communications. Transform, we can definitely help you with that project, and we have lots of experience in this area, so I'm sure we can get it done quickly and efficiently. We're absolutely equipped to handle this project successfully. Our team brings 15 years of specialized experience in this exact area. I'm confident we can deliver both the quality you expect and the timeline you need. Social and interpersonal benefits. The impact of measured speech extends far beyond professional settings into every aspect of social interaction. When you speak slowly and clearly, you create an atmosphere that encourages deeper connection and more meaningful exchanges. Creating emotional safety. Fast speech can create subconscious anxiety in listeners. Their brains work harder to keep up, leading to fatigue and potential frustration. Slower speech, conversely, creates a sense of safety and comfort. Listeners feel they have permission to really hear you, process your words, and respond thoughtfully. Building trust through clarity. Trust develops when people feel understood and when they can understand others easily. Clear, measured speech removes barriers to comprehension, allowing your personality, wisdom, and genuine care to shine through. When people can follow your thoughts easily, they're more likely to feel comfortable asking questions, share their own ideas openly, continue conversations longer, and seek future interactions with you. Cultural sensitivity and inclusion. In our increasingly diverse world, many of your conversation partners may be non-native English speakers themselves, elderly individuals who process information more slowly, or people from cultures where rapid speech is considered rude or aggressive. Your measured pace becomes an act of inclusion and respect. Examples of social transformation. Making new friends. Quick version. Hi, I'm Sarah. I just moved here from Portland. Do you know any good restaurants around here? Welcoming version. Hi, I'm Sarah. I just moved here from Portland. I'm still exploring the neighborhood. Do you happen to know any good restaurants around here? The second approach invites conversation rather than overwhelming the listener with rapid-fire information. Telling stories. Rushed narrative. So yesterday I was walking my dog and this crazy thing happened where this other dog got loose and came running over and my dog got so excited and they started playing and it was really funny because the owner was chasing after them. Engaging narrative. Yesterday I was walking my dog when something unexpected happened. Another dog somehow got loose and came bounding over to us. My dog got so excited, well, you can imagine what happened next. These two dogs started playing while the poor owner was chasing after them, calling their name. It was like a scene from a comedy movie. The slower version allows your listener to visualize each moment and laugh along with you. Comprehensive practice techniques. Developing the habit of clear, measured speech requires intentional practice using varied techniques that address different aspects of communication. Here are detailed methods you can implement immediately. Daily text reading practice. Basic technique. 1. Choose a paragraph from any English source, news article, book, blog post. Read it out loud at your normal speed. 2. Read it again at half that speed. 3. Read it a third time, focusing on making each word crystal clear. 4. Record all 3 versions and compare them. Advanced variation. 1. Select text of increasing complexity, simple news, to academic articles, to literary passages. 2. Practice different emotional tones, informative, persuasive, storytelling. 3. Focus on specific challenges, numbers, names, technical terms. Recording and analysis method. Setup. Create a simple recording setup using your phone or computer. The key is consistency and honest self-evaluation. Process. 1. Topic selection. Choose a simple topic you can speak about for 2 to 3 minutes. Your weekend, a favorite recipe, a recent movie. 2. Natural speed recording. Speak as you normally would. 3. Slow speed recording. Cover the same topic, consciously slowing your pace. 4. Comparative analysis. Rich version is easier to follow. 2. Where did pronunciation improve in the slow version? 3. Which version sounds more confident? 4. What grammar errors became apparent when speaking slowly? Partner practice. Half-speed conversations. Implementation. Find a language exchange partner, friend, or family member willing to participate in this exercise. Rules. Both participants speak at deliberately slow speeds. Conversation continues for 5 to 10 minutes. Topics should be natural and engaging. Focus on understanding and clarity over speed. Benefits you'll notice: increased comprehension of your partner's speech, greater awareness of your own pronunciation, more thoughtful responses, reduced conversation anxiety, better listening skills. Mirror pronunciation practice. Physical setup. Stand in front of a full-length mirror in good lighting where you can clearly see your mouth and facial expressions. Detailed process. 1. Text selection. Choose a paragraph with challenging sounds or words. 2. Visual focus. Watch your mouth as you speak each word slowly. 3. Muscle awareness. Notice how your tongue, lips, and jaw move for different sounds. 4. Expression integration. Observe how facial expressions change with different emotions or emphasis. 5. Confidence building. Practice maintaining good posture and pleasant expression while speaking. Specific benefits: improved awareness of articulatory movements, better pronunciation of difficult consonant clusters, enhanced connection between visual and auditory feedback, increased confidence in physical aspects of speech production, advanced linguistic techniques. As you become comfortable with basic slow speech principles, these advanced techniques will help you develop sophisticated communication skills that rival those of native speakers, mastering chunking for complex ideas. Understanding chunking. Chunking involves breaking long, complex sentences into smaller, digestible units of meaning. This technique helps both you and your listener process information more effectively. Basic chunking rules. Pause after introductory phrases. Separate main clauses from subordinate clauses. Give time after complex subjects before continuing with verbs. Break up long lists into smaller groups. Examples: unchunked, difficult to follow. When I was living in Tokyo last year, I discovered this incredible small restaurant tucked away in a narrow alley behind the main shopping district where they serve the most authentic ramen I've ever tasted. And the elderly chef, who had been making noodles for over 40 years, told me stories about the neighborhood's history while I ate. Properly chunked. When I was living in Tokyo last year, I discovered this incredible small restaurant. It was tucked away in a narrow alley behind the main shopping district. They served the most authentic ramen I've ever tasted, and the elderly chef, who had been making noodles for over 40 years, told me stories about the neighborhood's history while I ate. Strategic pause placement. Types of pauses and their functions. Thinking pauses. Brief silences that give you time to organize thoughts. The most important factor is environmental sustainability. Emphasis pauses. Silences that highlight key information. We will meet at 3 sharp. The winner of this year's award is Maria Rodriguez. Emotional pauses. Silences that allow feelings to resonate. I have some news. I got the job. There's something I need to tell you about what happened yesterday. Transition pauses. Brief breaks between different ideas or topics. That covers our budget concerns. Now, let's discuss timeline. Advanced rhythm and intonation control. Understanding English sentence stress. English uses stress patterns to convey meaning. Content words, nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs typically receive stress, while function words, articles, prepositions, auxiliary verbs remain unstressed. Practice example. I went to the store to buy some milk. Capital letters indicate stressed words. Slow practice method. Identify the content words in your sentence. Practice saying only those words. Went, store, buy, milk. Add the function words while maintaining the stress pattern. Gradually increase speed while preserving the rhythm. Intonation patterns. Rising intonation for questions, uncertainty, lists. Are you coming with us? I think it's on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday. Falling intonation for statements, commands, completion. I really enjoyed the movie. Please close the door. Rising, falling intonation for emphasis, contradiction. I said I was going to the store, not the mall. Pronunciation and grammar integration. Slow speech provides an ideal environment for simultaneously improving pronunciation and grammar accuracy. When you're not rushing, you have the mental space to monitor both aspects of your speech production. Consonant cluster mastery. English contains many consonant clusters, multiple consonants together, that can be challenging for non-native speakers. Slow speech allows you to pronounce each sound clearly. Common challenging clusters. Initial clusters. Street, strong, struggle, spring, spread, spray, scratch, screen, screw, 3, through, throw. Final clusters. Costs, lists, tests, acts, facts, contacts, months, lengths. Real-time grammar monitoring. Common grammar points to monitor. Third person S. Slow version allows you to hear she goes to school every day. Instead of rushed, she go to school every day. Past tense endings. Clear pronunciation. Yesterday, I walked to the market. Not yesterday, I walk to market. Article usage. Deliberate inclusion. I went to the store to buy an apple. Instead of rushed omission, I went store buy apple. Preposition accuracy. Careful selection. I'm interested in learning about your culture. Not I interested learn about your culture. Psychological and emotional aspects. The journey toward clearer, slower speech often involves overcoming psychological barriers and developing new emotional associations with communication. Overcoming speed anxiety. Understanding the rush reflex. Many learners develop a psychological pattern where nervousness triggers rapid speech, which increases nervousness, creating a vicious cycle. Breaking this cycle requires conscious intervention. Reframing techniques. From I need to speak fast or people will think I'm stupid, to speaking clearly shows I care about being understood. From pauses make me seem uncertain, to pauses show I'm thinking carefully about my words. From slow speech sounds boring, to measured speech sounds professional and confident. Building speaking confidence. Confidence anchoring technique. Before speaking, particularly in stressful situations, use this mental routine. 1. Take one deep breath. 2. Remind yourself, I have valuable things to say. 3. Set the intention, I will speak slowly and clearly. 4. Begin with one deliberately slow sentence. Success visualization. Regularly imagine yourself speaking slowly and confidently in various situations. Visualize positive reactions from listeners. Engaged expressions, nods of understanding, follow-up questions that show interest. Managing perfectionist tendencies. Embracing good enough communication. Perfectionist learners often rush because they're afraid of making mistakes. Paradoxically, this leads to more errors. Slow speech allows for good enough communication that's actually superior to rushed perfect attempts. The progress mindset. Instead of judging each conversation as success or failure, view every interaction as practice. Each time you choose slow speech over rushed delivery, you're building a stronger foundation. Cultural considerations and adaptations. Different cultures have varying relationships with speech speed, silence, and conversational rhythm. Understanding these differences helps you adapt your slow speech approach appropriately. International business contexts. Asian business cultures. Many Asian cultures value thoughtful pauses and measured speech as signs of wisdom and respect. Your slow speech approach aligns well with these values. Northern European contexts. Scandinavian and Germanic cultures often appreciate directness combined with clarity. Slow speech should focus on precision and brevity. Latin American and Southern European contexts. These cultures may be more comfortable with faster speech and overlapping conversation. Your slow approach should maintain warmth and expressiveness. Middle Eastern and African contexts. Many cultures in these regions value storytelling and detailed explanation. Slow speech provides excellent opportunities for rich and descriptive communication. Adapting to different listeners. Speaking to children, naturally slow your speech even further, use simpler vocabulary, and include more pauses for comprehension checking. Conversing with elderly speakers, maintain respectful pacing that allows for potential hearing or processing differences without being condescending. Communicating with other non-native speakers. Create a mutually supportive environment where both parties speak slowly and clearly. Technology integration and modern applications. In our digital age, slow speech principles apply across various technological platforms and communication mediums. Video conferencing excellence. Technical considerations. Internet delays make slow speech even more important. Audio compression can blur rapid speech. Visual lag requires additional pause time. Best practices. Begin each statement slightly slower than normal. Leave longer pauses after questions to account for technical delays. Repeat key information at a measured pace. Use verbal confirmation. Can everyone hear me clearly? Phone and audio-only communication. Challenges. No visual cues to aid comprehension. Potential poor connection quality. Listener multitasking or distractions. Podcast and video recording. Professional delivery. Practice with recording equipment to understand your natural pace. Use markers or notes to remind yourself to slow down. Edit to remove excessive speed rather than adding rushed content. Consider your audience's listening environment, commuting, multitasking, social media and voice messages. Voice message excellence. Keep messages concise but not rushed. State your main point early and clearly. End with clear next steps or expectations. Re-record if you notice rushed delivery. Measuring progress and maintaining momentum. Developing slow speech habits requires consistent practice and regular assessment of your progress. Progress tracking methods. Weekly recording reviews. Record 5-minute conversations or monologues weekly. Note improvements in clarity, pacing, and confidence. Identify persistent challenges for focused practice. Listener feedback collection. Ask trusted friends or colleagues about your speech clarity. Request specific feedback. Was I speaking too fast during the presentation? Notice nonverbal cues, increased engagement, fewer requests for repetition. Self-assessment checklist. After each significant conversation, quickly evaluate. Did I maintain appropriate pacing throughout? Were there moments when I rushed due to nervousness? Did my listener seem to follow easily? What would I do differently next time? Habit integration strategies. Environmental cues. Post small reminders in your workspace. Speak slowly. Set phone alerts for practice sessions. Use transition moments, entering rooms, answering phones as slow speech triggers. Accountability systems. Partner with another English learner for mutual support. Join conversation groups focused on clarity over speed. Work with a tutor who emphasizes measured speech. Graduated challenge system. Week 1 to 2. Focus on slow speech in low-pressure situations. Week 3 to 4. Applied techniques in casual social interactions. Week 5 to 6. Use slow speech in professional settings. Week 7 plus. Integrate naturally into all communication contexts. Advanced applications and mastery. Once you've established basic slow speech habits, these advanced applications will help you achieve native-level communication effectiveness. Storytelling and narrative excellence. Building suspense through pacing, master storytellers use speed variation to create emotional experiences. I was walking home late last night when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around but saw nothing. The footsteps stopped exactly when I stopped. Emotional modulation. Joy. Slightly faster pace with clear articulation. Sadness. Slower pace with falling intonation. Excitement. Moderate pace with rising intonation. Seriousness. Very slow pace with deliberate emphasis. Persuasion and influence techniques. The authority pause. Before making important points, pause to command attention. There are 3 critical factors we must consider. First, financial sustainability. Credibility building. Slow, clear speech conveys expertise and trustworthiness. Use measured delivery when presenting credentials or experience. Explaining complex processes. making recommendations, or discussing serious topics. Teaching and mentoring applications. Knowledge transfer excellence. When explaining concepts to others, break complex ideas into small, clearly articulated chunks. Use pauses to check comprehension. Repeat key points at consistent, slow speeds. Invite questions through your pacing and tone. Common challenges and solutions. Every learner faces specific obstacles when developing slow speech habits. Here are the most common challenges and proven solutions. The impatience problem. Challenge: feeling like slow speech takes too long or boring others. Solution: remember that clear communication is always more valuable than fast communication. Practice timing yourself. You'll discover that slow speech often takes only 10 to 20% longer than rushed speech, but improves comprehension by 200 to 300%. The nervousness acceleration. Challenge: speaking faster when nervous despite intentions to slow down. Solution: develop physical cues that remind you to slow down. Feel your feet on the ground. Take a visible deep breath before speaking. Hold something in your hands to maintain physical awareness. Practice the pause and smile technique. The professional time pressure. Challenge: feeling pressure to speak quickly in business situations. Solution: reframe slow speech as efficiency. Clear communication prevents misunderstandings, reduces need for repetition, and demonstrates professionalism. The cultural mismatch concern. Challenge: worrying that slow speech doesn't match cultural expectations. Solution: adapt your baseline speed to cultural norms while maintaining clarity. Even in fast-speaking cultures, clarity remains valued in professional and formal contexts. The long-term vision. Developing masterful, slow speech is not just about improving your English, it's about transforming how you communicate and connect with others throughout your life. Personal transformation outcomes. Increased confidence. When you control your speech pace, you feel more in control of conversations and social situations. Enhanced relationships. People feel heard and valued when you speak clearly and give them time to process your words. Professional advancement. Clear communicators are often perceived as more competent and trustworthy, leading to better opportunities. Reduced anxiety. Measured speech reduces communication anxiety and creates positive feedback loops. Cultural bridge building. Your clear speech helps people from different backgrounds feel more comfortable interacting with you. Mastery indicators. You'll know you've truly integrated slow speech principles when you naturally adjust your pace based on context and audience. People frequently comment on how easy you are to understand. You feel calm and confident in challenging communication situations. Your speech maintains clarity even under pressure. You use pacing strategically to enhance your message effectiveness. Conclusion: the journey forward. The path to masterful, clear English communication through measured speech is both a practical skill and a philosophical approach to human connection. Every time you choose clarity over speed, understanding over impression, and connection over performance, you're not just improving your English, you're becoming a more effective, empathetic, and influential communicator. Remember these core principles. 1. Fluency is not about speed. It's about control, clarity, and connection. 2. Your words have value. They deserve the time and space to be heard properly. 3. Clear communication is a gift to your listeners and yourself. 4. Progress happens gradually. Celebrate small improvements consistently. 5. Confidence grows through practice. Every conversation is an opportunity to improve. Your action plan starting today. Choose one conversation daily where you consciously slow your speech. Record yourself weekly to track progress. Practice the pause and smile technique before speaking. Focus on one specific improvement area each week: pronunciation, grammar, or rhythm. Seek feedback